What's up? GERO 200. Hey, it's January 30th, 2022, and we're gonna jump right in to what to every one of you is like, oh my God, I can't take this biology of aging section, but you got to believe, okay? That's what we're here for. I'm gonna make this so easy for you to understand. You're gonna love it, okay? And it's gonna be very relatable. And then we're gonna end with the discussion about reproduction because I know all of you guys are into that, okay? But what happens with reproduction and fertility, okay, as you get older, okay? So basically the whole concept that you spend all of your young adult life doing everything you can possibly do to avoid getting pregnant, and then you say, okay, I'm 35 now, I'm ready, and then you got issues, all right? You got to believe, just like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bagels, okay? Very cool. And also, as you can tell right here, I'm sporting my Andy Enfield cut, okay? So Julia gave me the Andy Enfield haircut. And that means we're going all the way, baby, just like our basketball team. All right, cool. Well, let's jump right in here. For those of you that are new, you got to watch my how-to videos, okay? How to get an A, and basically you go in here and you'll find it. Also, if you're new to the course, the best way to catch up and find out what we've been doing is scroll backwards in time. This is chronological, and this is how things have been going, starting with our intro. The intro lectures with the how to get an A, and then the first lecture, the scheduling, okay, so you calendar this stuff up. Okay, us gotta believe that we're coming out of this pandemic, okay? Well, we're talking about herd immunity, baby, and on and on. So that's how you catch up. You go through there, okay? I'll be sending out a separate video, okay, that is going to be covering the up and coming assignment, okay, and that's shown right here, okay. So this is the first short paper, all right, 2 to 3 pages type plus graphs. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be data analysis experts in terms of looking at populations, okay. All right, well, let's jump right into it. For those of you, again, that are new, what we do is just every week, you just allocate time to go into the weekly assignment, okay? Contact Julie about the catch up for these 3 weeks if you're new, okay? We talked about global aging, okay? We also talked a lot in this global aging about nations that got it together and nations that are, looking for answers, okay? We looked at our nation right here, okay? And one of the way we had answers is just to study each age group, each generation, and make predictions. I mean, the classic example, when I was a kid, there were so many of us baby boomers. What does society have to do? We had to make a bunch of K through 12 schools, tons and tons of building for K through 12 schools to accommodate me. And what else happened? Well, hey, people like me are going to start going to college. People like me are going to have children. They're going to go to college. So what did we do? We developed the University of California system, the Cal State system to accommodate, okay? And then we've modified Medicare and Social Security and things like that. All right, so that's why this is important. Now, from these first couple of weeks, we also realized that the burden that comes with aging is a number of what are called age-related diseases. So you do everything right, okay? You have good hygiene and get rid of the critters in the water, okay? So you get rid of bacterial infections from the water, okay? You develop vaccinations to limit the effect of viruses, okay? This last one, okay, the coronavirus, that was a tough one. Thank God for science, okay? Or else we would have had, probably 10 million people dead in our country. Okay, um, so, but society eliminated those goodies for the most part, okay? And then what happens is we have these chronic diseases of aging that will get you over time. Cancer, diabetes, vascular disease as it relates to diabetes, brain disease of aging, all right? Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, and stroke, okay? All righty, so what is the biggest risk factor for all those things, okay, that I was just talking about, whether it's cancer, brain diseases of aging? The biggest risk factor is aging, all right? So better knowledge about why aging is putting us at risk biologically gives us new targets of intervention, so that the goal is to live a really, really long, successful life, okay, doing the things you want to do in just a very short period of decline. Okay, so that's the goal. And there's all kinds of pop-up companies for my B majors, my Marshall majors, okay, law majors, okay, these pop-up companies are all about nutritional supplements that in some way or another, okay, are linked to a lot of what we're going to be talking about in terms of the biology of aging, okay? You got to watch out though. There's a lot of snake oil out there, okay? These nutritional supplements are not FDA approved, okay? So they do not have to follow the guidelines of governments that our government puts forth in terms of medications saying it will do X, Y, and Z, all right? So you got to be very careful, all right? Okay, so let's check this stuff out, all right? So I'm going to go into the theories of biology of aging, all right? If you're new to the class, what we want you to do is you come right over here, okay? You scroll down. All right, so I'm going to go through all this stuff. We're going to review this together, okay, this information. It's really cool stuff, okay? And then what I would do is I would go ahead and open the quiz, okay? So I hit begin, and I'm going to check out what my quiz questions are. I'm going to leave it open, okay? So we look down here, we see aging is not programmed, okay? Aging is influenced by evolution, linked to mitochondrial function, okay? To me, all those things sound kind of interesting, okay? All right? So I would say all of the above, okay? All right, down here, okay, what is the effect of raising flies in a high oxygen environment? Lots of oxygen, lots of oxidation. Is that gonna increase their lifespan? Shorten their lifespan, okay? Doesn't change, okay? Speeds up their metabolism, okay? It's gonna shorten their lifespan, all right? Cool. All right, so this is the kind of stuff you just kind of look these things over, all right? And then, okay, get my face out of the way here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up another window, which I already did because I was kind of checking things out right here, okay? So we're back to this assignment right here, okay? Now what I want to do is I'm going to go into student view because if you were looking at that, you were probably confused. Denied, I got to log in, all right? Okay, let's check it out. Okay, all right, I'm coming back in. That's just Blackboard being foolish, okay? All right. There. Okay, we're in. And by the way, we have the greatest team of experts that are in there watching what you're doing. We have spot on grading. Okay, we're very, very, very consistent. And everybody in this entire team, we're all gerontologists. We've all been working together for a long time. So just want to let you know that too. All right, so back in weekly assignment. Here's my quiz. I already have it open. Back to the weekly assignment over here for my newbies. Okay. And in fact, my old friend Olivia Griffith is joining the group. All right, what's up, Olivia? Okay, then we click right there. So my video that I'm making right here, I'm going to stick it in right here, and then I'm also going to send it out as an email. All right, so I'm not going to watch this video with you. It's really entertaining and fun. Super well done. This company is amazing. Okay, and they raise some key concepts that then we can look at in terms of the reading as well. All right, key concepts, okay? Dividing cells, they have this limit in their ability to divide, okay, and replace dead cells in tissue, okay? Cell division happens slower and slower and slower. Now, not all of your body's tissue undergoes cell division. Obviously, your skin undergoes cell division, okay? Your gastrointestinal system undergoes a lot of cell division. Those, the parts exposed to the outside world, which is also your GI system, okay? We have a lot of cell division in our blood cells, okay? Our red blood cells, our white blood cells, our immune system cells, they undergo cell division all the time as well. So we have a bucket load of stem cells in our bone marrow, okay? And it just depends on the tissue. So I can go through each of the tissues, your breast tissues, your testicular tissues, on and on and on, undergoes a lot of cell division. Now there's some tissues that, for the most part, you're kind of born with your full allotment. There's a limited amount of stem cell replacement, okay? These long-lived cells, okay, in biological vernacular, it's like they've hit their endpoint, okay, and they are fully differentiated, they've got their job, okay? So, brain cells, okay, is an example of this. We have a limited amount of replacement that can happen, very limited, okay? Spinal cord cells, okay? So the brain, the spinal cord is your central nervous system. We have parts of the nervous system that go all the way out to the very tippy tip of my finger. That's the periphery, the peripheral nervous system, limited replacement capability, okay? Same goes for the muscles. all right, that attach my skeleton. Okay, this is my skeletal muscle. You lose your muscle. The other ones that are left behind can get bigger and compensate, but you don't make new ones for the most part. Same thing with my cardiac muscle. All right, so that's the background, but we do have a lot of cell division going on. All right, cell division slows, okay, and that's why you have skin that looks like this. Check that out. Whoops, okay, it's old skin that doesn't do its job. Okay, I don't have the skin cell replacement that I used to have. Okay, wrinkles, all that kind of stuff. All right, cool. All right, so that's part one. Okay, we have this mechanism of pruning and getting rid of cells that become non-functional. Okay, it's called, all right, and again, it's a science term, but it's just called apoptosis, and it's just a slow garbage removal of bad cells. It can be followed up from injury. You can get tissue that gets kind of nasty, infected, called necrotic. And then there'll be like a little halo that might die slowly, and that's apoptosis. And then sporadically, all throughout your body, things happen, and you get apoptosis. Okay, and then sometimes cells stick around. Okay, they don't work anymore. There's no more cell division, but you can't get rid of them. They're messed up. Okay, and these are senescent is a fancy science word in gerontology for aging. These senescent cells, they get in the way. Okay, because you only have a limited capacity, for example, for your heart. Okay, I can't have my heart going all the way out to here, so that messes things up. All right. The next thing they talk about is about this sweet spot for nutrition. Okay, and with respect to nutrition, we have these nutrition kind of sensors that are out there. And so they're going to be talking about this compound, okay, that is called NAD+, okay? And basically, when you don't have a lot of sugar coming in, okay, don't have a lot of fat, so your calories are kind of lower, then your body goes into this mode of, and this is the sensor, when you have a lot of sugar, you have NADH, and so you're in just drive cell division. There's unlimited food, which is not a good thing, okay? Or if you have limited nutrition, the other side, okay? NAD plus comes up, and NAD plus stimulates repair of your cells, okay? It's kind of going like this. Oh my God, we don't have enough nutrition around to keep, just going crazy, making new cells. So we're gonna hunker down and protect what we have, and that's the concept there. So it increases resistance to oxidation. It improves the mitochondria, all these great things that we're going to learn about. All right, that's the nutrition part, okay? All righty. Our stem cells do decrease, and we're going to learn that this is kind of one of the limitations that in terms of cell division is every time you undergo cell division, there's a part of the chromosome that gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that changes the rate of cell division, and ultimately it exhausts cell division, okay? And that's why, when this pandemic hit, and the very first thing that they did is they said, we got to get people vaccinated that are older. You've heard it, for the last 10 years, okay, when you became like, 10-year-olds, okay, and you start listening to the news and you always hear it is highly recommended that people over the age of 65 get a flu shot every year, okay? So we needed to get the first coronavirus vaccine. We need the flu shot. Why is that? Okay, it's because of the limitations in the cell division to produce the memory immune system cells that are all throughout my body because of vaccination. You guys produce memory cells right away. Okay, old people takes a lot longer because we've already kind of exhausted our bone marrow. Okay, in fact, if I was to pull out your bone marrow, okay, and look at mine, okay, because I'm 65 years of age, and compared to yours, the amount of stem cells in my bone marrow compared to yours, okay, I would have about 30% of what you have, okay, because it's already kind of gone. That's just kind of an approximation or a rule of thumb. All right, very cool. So that's what that video is all about. Then we go in here, okay, and we kind of look at this article. You know what? I just want you guys to just relax and enjoy this. Okay, breeze through it. I'm going to help you kind of interpret it. Okay, so this is, theories of aging related to biology. Again, knowledge about the biology of aging is going to really help you in terms of guiding your health practices, and also going to help you in terms of interpreting the future of healthcare. All right, so we want to figure out, as indicated right here, how do we age? Okay, and a lot of it is theoretical, and so you can see kind of like there could be like 15 labs all around the world studying the same thing, but from different directions. Okay, it's the infamous blind man and the elephant. One person, thinks that the elephant's a snake because it pulls on its tail. The other thinks it's a stone, or so, whatever the story goes, because it's like holding its feet, whatever it is. Okay, all right. So these are just theories. Okay, how do we age? Okay, and so we get into our laboratories and we test these hypotheses. Okay, in terms of what's going on. And we use animal models, and then we, in terms of using the animal models, you go through evolution, so to speak. So you start off with, I have a good friend that studied yeast, and then he studied little tiny worms that you find in the soil that last only 20 days. So it's a great aging model. Fruit flies, mice, monkeys, humans. Okay, and you see, wow, the same thing we're seeing in yeast and worms happens in mice, happens in monkeys, and happens in us. Okay, that's when you know you really got something. Okay, all righty. So for all these animal models, not specifically for humans, but indirectly for humans it works too. The one thing that has been shown to dramatically increase the lifespan is to don't eat so damn much. Okay, to limit nutrition, to have a balanced diet. Okay, have little intermittent periods of fasting. Okay, so we're going to limit how many calories we consume. So the scientists that study aging call this calorie restriction. Okay, and you can obviously in a laboratory study a lot of fruit flies. Okay, and you can really, in a very quantitative way, limit their calories. Okay, and well, what happens is these animals, they live longer, so it could be worms, okay, insects, rodents, and they showed less in terms of, if we're looking at mammal models, less age-related disease, less cancer, less heart disease, just like us. Okay, very, very cool. All right. Now, when you're looking at really simple organisms, okay, like a yeast or a roundworm or a Drosophila, they have really simple genetics, okay? So we can go into their DNA, look at their recipes, okay, and say which ones are upregulated, so which ones are are being read more often, producing more proteins, and which ones are being read less often when we do something simple like limit the number of calories these animals take in. And bada bing, bada boom, over and over again, it's been related to an endocrine pathway. Okay, endocrine means a blood-borne hormone. Okay, an endocrine pathway that regulates how we respond to nutrition. Okay, so we have these same hormones in us. Okay, one you see on the left is insulin. All right, so if I take in some sugar, okay, my body immediately releases insulin. Okay, and then the sugar just goes everywhere in my blood, and anywhere the insulin goes, it's like a key fitting into a lock. Goes like this, and it creates this pore that just rifles the sugar into the cells, and uses that to grow and grow and grow, to undergo cell division. Okay, and the insulin, when it binds the receptor, not only does it let in the glucose, but the insulin is also a key messenger that says, "Hey, cell, undergo cell division." All right, so it goes to the cook station, the DNA, the genes. It says, "You know what? I want you to make a bunch." It's like forming a franchise. Okay, so you have your first Taco Bell. Next you know you have 50,000 Taco Bells. Okay. All right. So, and in this case, you have enough nutrition. The insulin is saying go, 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 and you start making more and more and more cells. And you have to, every time you make a Taco Bell, it's got to be the same structure, all the same proteins. So these are these driving forces that insulin has. IGF-1 is another one. All right. So when you have a lot of calories, could be glucose. This gets released by the liver, and it does the same exact drill. It goes to all your dividing tissue, your fat cells. Okay. Your skin cells, okay, your smooth muscle cells, okay, your ductal cells in your breasts, and all these things. And it says, you know what? We got a lot of goodies around right now. Why not undergo cell division? Okay, um, and um, and so too much cell division. The problem with cell division is what if that Taco Bell stand um, got all screwed up? Okay, somebody went in there and broke every bits and pieces of the cook station, and before you could repair it, you replicated it. Okay, that's the problem. All right, when you have unrelenting cell division, if there's damage inside that cell's DNA, okay, the cookbook is missing pages, then this next cell that gets produced and the cell after that is full of damage, it's dysfunctional, and it becomes this downward spiral that will result in stuff like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. All right, so that's the concept with that. All righty. Now, the other thing that you'll see oftentimes, and this was the answer again to that first question. So no, aging is not programmed. You know? It's just the idea is that we just have genes that do different things modulated by the environment. Now I want to come down here. I was just talking about a lot of nutrition. Okay, when you have a lot of nutrition, okay, so they're talking about cross-linking hypothesis. There's two different ways. Okay, you have a lot of nutrition, you have a lot of glucose. Okay, you're a cookie hound like me, all right? And if you're always eating glucose, then what happens is the glucose right here, okay, gets high in your blood, stays high in your blood, okay? And what it does is it will actually candy coat all the proteins in your blood, and all the proteins on the surface of your vasculature get candy coated, and even cells that go inside get candy coated. Okay. All right, so when you candy coat something, it's called glycation. And these advanced glycation end products, okay, isn't that tricky? And it's, of course, in aging, we call it aged, okay? But these things are so detrimental to your body, okay? And of course, who has high blood glucose? Somebody with diabetes, okay? And age-related diabetes, okay, which is the most common one, it's a huge issue, okay? Because then what happens is your immune system goes running around and says, what is that stuff? It's not normal. What does your immune system do to stuff inside the blood, inside your tissue that doesn't look normal? It launches an attack, okay? So people that have chronically high glucose have this chronic attack going on, this chronic inflammation in their blood, all right? So the most the clinical readout of this chronically high elevation of glucose that is screwing up the proteins by candy coating and forming these advanced glycation end products is something that is used, the best measure to use of diabetes, and it's the hemoglobin A1C test, okay? And hemoglobin is a protein that's in your red blood cells, okay? And your red blood cells last about 120 days, and then they're gone, okay? They get removed by your spleen, okay? All right, those red blood cells, okay, their proteins get candy coated, and the one protein that actually latches onto oxygen and delivers it to your cells is hemoglobin. And if hemoglobin gets candy coated, it's not going to be very good, okay, at delivering oxygen, and it's now a readout. So, and your hemoglobin should be less than 6.5% of it should be candy coated. Okay, the best thing, because you're always going to have some sugar in your blood, you should be around 2. You know, but if you get up into 6.5, you're a diabetic. You get to about 4, you're pre-diabetic. Okay, all right. So that's this concept, okay, of cross-linking. The other thing that happens is when you have a lot of these candy coated proteins, it triggers the release of free radicals, because that makes the immune system come in and find those things and eat them up, okay? We use oxidation and free radicals for that. However, if it's chronic oxidation and free radicals all the time, then that causes the DNA to get cross-linked, you get mutations, it causes proteins to get cross-linked, your cells don't work as well. So you can see this kind of snowballing effect, right? And that's why you eat your antioxidants. For all my people out there that eat kale, drink their acai berry juice, that's why you're doing it, because those guys will get rid of oxidation. Like they actually donate an electron to a bad piece of DNA that help repair it. All right, cool. So that's what that's all about. Okay, so then we had this kind of, and by the way, okay, when we look at Alzheimer's patients, that's referred to, we're going to see later on, as type 3 diabetes because of all of this glycation and immune inflammation that happens in the brain. Okay, all right, cool. And some of the proteins that we see in Alzheimer's are cross-linked. We're going to learn about these amyloid plaques. They're just clump proteins that, again, are because of glycation and oxidation. All right, so do we age in terms of, again, this senescence theory, which is kind of, a gerontology theory about aging? Is it in our evolution? Okay, is it a program thing? Okay, so the best way to look at this, is there. And again, can we make it any more difficult? Okay, on you. So there's this theory called antagonistic pleiotropy. Okay, antagonistic means what's good for the goose is bad for the gander. Or how about, all right? So we just changed it up a little bit there. Okay, so something that's good now could be really bad for you later. Okay, but that's okay, because maybe now is all about reproduction, okay? So that's what this evolutionary theory, a big part of it is, and we're going to hear about another one called the disposable soma, and that is, if I can make myself big and strong and huge and kick butt and beat up all the competition, then my genes are going to get passed on, okay? So that also big and strong and huge thing could put me at risk for diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's later on, but who cares? I've already passed my genes along, okay? All right, so a pleiotropic means it has different advantages, different growth patterns, okay? All right, some genes increase the odds of successful reproduction, all right, but others might not, okay? All right, so, if you're one of those people that's putting out a lot of IGF-1 and a lot of insulin, you're gonna get huge, right? And you're gonna be able to go over there, caveman style, boom, 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 beat up on somebody, and you're going to get all the riches in terms of the reproduction, right? In today's world, that doesn't work so well, okay? You're the guy that gets big and huge because you're eating all the food, you're going to get diabetes and heart disease and all cancer and all these other things. That's so what was good in early times of reproduction is really bad in terms of aging because it puts you at super high risk for cancer, okay? Here's another one right here. This is a gene that we have. It is a mutation in this gene. It's the most common mutation that happens in all the cancers, of which there are hundreds of cancers, okay? So what is this gene all about? So when you have high levels of this gene, okay, what it does is it is a gene that says, hey, there's damage in that DNA. Let's go in there and repair it, okay? Repair that mutation, okay? So that way the cell is going to do better, the person's going to do better. And then the other thing that it does, because sometimes you can have unbelievable amounts of damage. If the damage is too high, P53 gets really high, and then that becomes a signal of like, I give up the ship. We're going to kill the cell via that process I was talking about of apoptosis, and it kills the cells off. It gets rid of the bad cells, all right? And if you have tissue that has lots of cell division, then, getting rid of the bad cells is not such a bad thing. You'll bring in some good cells, okay? So let's say these are duct cells in your breast or duct cells in your testes, okay? You don't want those guys to have abnormal cell division so that you get breast cancer or that you get prostate cancer, right? Okay, so that's what P53 keeps from happening. That's the good. What about the bad, okay? If I have high levels of P53, things go south and don't look right in my brain, okay? What happens is high P53 levels are associated with dementia and Alzheimer's disease, okay? So because it's killing off cells too easily. So we want to kill off our bad cancer cells easily, okay? Like my Relay for Life t-shirt says, but we don't want to kill off our nerve cells so easily. We don't want to kill off our heart cells so easily. So it's a double-edged sword, and this is this antagonistic pleiotropy. Same thing with stress hormones. Stress hormones get us out of immediate danger, and we win, all right? Being chased by an African lion, all right? That's good, okay? That's what we need stress hormones for, okay? We'll learn later on that Chronic stress hormones, however, can give you dementia, heart disease, diabetes. All right. So that's this concept of this double-edged sword of antagonistic pleiotropy. Okay, cool. Now, there's a big theory out there in terms of aging. So this is again, this one's a little flimsy what it's talking about, but it is this concept that we put forth a lot of resources so that we can be reproductively successful. Like I said, you look out there in the animal world, other than us, the big strong ones have the most success. Nowadays, okay, it's the one with the most money. Okay, all right, sort of, all right. Okay, so. Now, the other thing that's really important is we gotta maintain our genome, meaning if there are mutations, like I said with the p53, then we got to get rid of this damage. Okay, so those cells that repair damage more easily are gonna do better, and that's going to increase the viability of Dr. Walsh, of you, and all other organisms. Okay, what am I going to do to increase my DNA repair? God, I don't know. How about exercise? Okay, that increases DNA repair enzyme function. It also produces proteins that will get rid of these things, these oxidants that cause mutations. So it gives me, when I exercise all the time, my body produces what are called antioxidant enzymes to get rid of them. Okay, what's another way to limit DNA damage? All I need to do is fast every once in a while, where my cells are going, oh no, there's no food. I better hold on to what I got and repair what I got. All right. So the whole concept of this is we're gonna try and limit the damage from free radicals. Okay, and then that will keep from us from having mistakes in the DNA when our cells undergo cell division and replication. Alrighty. So there's lots of things. They talk about outside factors, radiation, toxins that can cause DNA damage. Okay, and hopefully we're really healthy and we can limit that. All right. So that's basically what the idea is. Now, where do most of our free radicals get generated? Okay. It's just like your engine in your car, the exhaust pipe spewing out all the contaminants, okay? But your car is kicking ass, okay? This is what your mitochondria takes in the glucose and the oxygen, takes in the fat and the oxygen, takes in the ketones, if you're one of those ketone type persons, and the oxygen, and it's making all the energy to keep your body going, every single cell, like that, okay? Sometimes the mitochondria hiccup, and they release, just like your tailpipe in your car, they release these free radicals. These free radicals will damage anything that they encounter. So you tell me, would you rather have a brand new Tesla, or would you like to have a 1965 Dodge Dart, okay, or a Toyota Corolla, okay? All right, which one's more efficient, the new one or the old one? Same deal with your mitochondria. Anything you can do to have brand spanking new mitochondria, okay, is going to limit their creation of these damaging free radicals. How do I increase my mitochondria? Good diet, Mediterranean diet, reduce my stress, okay? These all have been done, and exercise are the best things you can do. All right, cool. All righty. So this goes back to what I was talking about. If you eat a lot of food, you'll release a lot of insulin, a lot of IGF-1, and that has been shown to limit the lifespan. It increases disease, okay, and there's tons and tons of work that have been done with that, all right? Rate of living, this goes back to the mitochondria, okay? So if you actually were to put your ear on your dog Buddy's chest and listen to Buddy's heartbeat, you would hear that it's not like you where you're doing 60 to 7 beats per minute. Buddy's going at about 150, bum, 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 bum. And the idea is their metabolism is so much faster that that they spew free radicals, and then that's going to damage things. Their mitochondria are not as efficient. If you listen to a little mouse, okay, like Tom and Jerry, you put your ear up to the mouse's chest, it's going at about 300 beats per minute, okay? Awesome. So that's the idea on that. Okay, and then lastly, this is the ability to have cell division. There's a limit, okay, in this cell division, okay? It's chromosomal, okay, and it has to do with these caps that are on the ends of the chromosome. So they're about this long, and with each cell division, you get smaller and smaller and smaller. And as they get smaller, the ability to divide gets slower, so your tissue is not replenished as quickly. And then ultimately, some of these stem cells, they exhaust themselves, okay? All right, now we have some cells that will actually put on an enzyme called telomerase that will lengthen the telomeres, okay? Sadly, okay, that's what happens in cancer as well. The second most common mutation is this telomerase that causes unrelenting cell division. So it's a target for aging research for health, but you got to watch out what's going on, all right? All right, and in terms of these telomeres, what we're going to do, and there's you can read up on this. So we're going to get out of here now, and we can then, apply what we've done through this video, through the reading, to our discussion. Now, right here, this is just like an overview. Okay, I just talked about telomeres. Okay, the shorter the telomeres, the less cell division you have. Okay, if I have DNA, oh yeah, and the other thing that telomeres do, they protect your chromosomes. They protect your DNA. So as the telomeres get smaller and smaller, less protection, you're going to get more DNA damage. You're going to see there's overlap on all these. Okay, less telomeres, my stem cells get exhausted, like my bone marrow, and so I'm not as well off as you are at producing white blood cells to fight off an infection. Okay, if I have DNA damage, then my recipes for making new proteins, my genes get screwed up, so I get errors. Okay, these proteins, okay, because of the bad recipe, become less functional, and if they get oxidized, okay, why? Because of my mitochondria right here. If they get oxidized, they're even less functional. Okay, I got some guys that won't die. They're just like a bunch of people that are a waste in line. Where if you just get them out of the line, you would get the job done a lot more quickly. Okay, on and on and on. And then we talked about metabolism. Okay, so that was that insulin and IGF-1 thing. If you want to look at this, you can go in. You got to have a subscription probably with Business Insider to look at the actual article, but that's what we got that figure for. And I thought it was a good review. That's why I put it in there. Okay, so where's the future? The future then, okay, is can we get rid of these old messed up cells without getting rid of the good guys too? All right. Can we give drugs, okay, that will get rid of the bad mitochondria and put in brand new ones, okay? Like I said, get rid of the Toyota Corolla, the 70s Toyota Corolla, and get a brand new, screw the Tesla. How about a brand new Mach-E, Mustang Mach-E? They're unreal, okay? All right, so that's one thing, okay? What else do we have, all right? Maybe we can introduce new stem cells to people like me that have lost it. So there's a lot of research going on there, okay? I talked about inflammation being the scourge from, say, being a diabetic, and you get more inflamed as you get older. Maybe we can do things that will reduce inflammation. This will rejuvenate my blood, okay? All righty, cool. What else do we have at our disposal here? We have diet, all right? So this is why this fasting craze, there is scientific evidence behind it. You just got to be careful, okay? You know your body. If you have issues with food, you have an eating disorder, then maybe fasting's not for you. But what you do is just eat a balanced diet, a Mediterranean diet that has less sugar, okay? A lot of whole wheat pastas, whole wheat breads instead of white bread, some croissants, okay? A lot of veggies, okay? And you'll do good, okay? All right. Hey, there's the Rams. Come on, Rammies. Okay. When you do this, okay, you're going to limit your insulin receptor activation. You're going to limit this one protein called mTOR that is like the go signal for cell division, okay? And you're going to activate these two proteins right here that are your protectors, okay? We're not going to get into this right now, but these two guys are activated when you have less nutrition around, all right? All right, we're going to protect our proteins. Epigenetics is this amazing field of genetic study. So every single cell in your body has the same recipe, the same cookbook, 23 pairs of chromosomes, all right? With epigenetics, though, it's like going to the cook station and saying, I want order 1 and order 3 and order 57. And I don't want any other things in between. So there are switches that turn on which genes get turned on under what point. If you have a lot of nutrition, a lot of cell division, a lot of problems, those are turned on. If you have good health and exercise, other genes are turned on. And those genes are passed on to your children in your eggs and your sperm and even to your grandchildren. That's why it's important to eat healthy, right? We're going to eliminate damaged cells, like I said, and maybe we can someday in the future do something to reactivate the telomerase to increase the length of the chromosomes and protect them from having DNA damage. That's the future, guys, right? Because our goal in biology of aging, believe me, I went surfing today. I got a shoulder issue, dang it, but I don't want to stop surfing. I don't want to stop surfing, okay? And so our goal is to increase this health span. I'm going to live forever. Medicine is going to keep me alive forever. I might as well just be able to kick butt to the bitter end and then have this precipitous decline versus this long, horrible, sickness-filled, protracted, slow decline. That's the goal in terms of aging research. All right? Cool. Now, the example that we're talking about here in our discussion is looking at your reproductive system, okay? And yeah, there's a lot of focus on the female reproductive system, okay? And so we're using these telomeres, okay? So what happens is you're born, ladies, with about close to 200,000 eggs, and then those eggs cycle out, and then when the last egg leaves your ovaries, boom, that's it, you go through menopause, no more eggs, okay? In order for the egg to go out, okay, into the world, into your uterus to get fertilized, there's a whole group of cells that encapsulate it, okay? So these are called your follicles, okay? And these follicles undergo massive cell division. All right, cell division, telomeres. So if you have limits in these telomeres, then you can have limits in cell division and these follicles as they're maturing to release the egg, and it can cause problems, okay? It causes fertility factors. It causes issues in terms when I'm talking about small telomeres on this side right here. These are the long telomeres, okay? It's going to extend your life. You can have lots and lots of kids, okay, because your eggs are doing well, all right, because the follicles are doing well. Lots of estrogen, which is the fertilizer of the female body, which is good, okay, and on and on and on and on. Okay, over here, you have ovarian insufficiency. You're going to be infertile. You're going to have recurrent miscarriages. You're going to have problems in terms of birth defects. Men, same drill for us, okay, and that's key. Okay, we'll talk about this later. Men have fertility issues as well. We peak in our early 30s, and then it's downhill from there. And now I'm going to do the cells, okay, that are responsible for producing the sperm in our testes are undergoing cell division all the time, making testosterone, making sperm, They're less efficient at that, so our testosterone goes down, and our sperm goes down. Our sperm count goes down, down, down. So we're part of the problem in terms of fertility as we get older. And guess what? We get problems right here, as you see, in terms of what the sperm are doing, okay? You get mutations, you get fragmentation of DNA that causes a lot of issues, okay? All righty. For example, we'll scroll down here, we'll look at the guys, since I talked about the guys down here. Advanced father age, paternal age, it reduces fertility, increases the risk of miscarriages, increases the risk of premature birth for the developing fetus, it increases the risk of complications for the mom. Okay, our old sperm did that, okay, because what's happening is the child's not developing right and there's an issue. In addition, okay, we can look over here as a function of father's age, okay, we can look at, and the best thing is just to look at the triangles. This is like a statistical methods, but you see that the older you are, the greater the likelihood that your kid's going to be psychotic, have ADHD, have autism, have bipolar, be suicidal, have substance abuse, have shitty grades, okay, and have poor educational attainment, all right? So, yes, it's a big issue. Now, the ladies, okay? So this is we're all aware of it, that as you get older, your fertility goes down. I'm sure you're aware of it, Okay, so this is I encourage you to check out this website. It's an amazing website. Now I want you to go in and kind of look at things, okay, and then we'll explain why this is down here. And then in the end, after you review male and female fertility, okay, you're going to come down here. Okay, we're going to look at and if you're interested, this is the meds to help you become more fertile as a woman. Okay, so these are the American Pregnancy Association and infertility medications. These are two different videos about in vitro fertilization that you got to check out. They're really good. Okay. And again, you review the male issues, and then we want you guys to discuss your thoughts and emotions about your reproductive future. Now, the reality is, okay, at your age, okay, you're 21, 22, even 20. Realistically, biologically, you should have had 3 kids easily. Okay, by the time you're 30, you're in your prime. You should have had 5 or 6 kids. Okay, that's what we're designed for. Okay, and then it plummets. It's downhill after that. So we do everything we can to avoid fertilization, and then look what happens. Okay, so let's check this discussion out. Okay, and that's what we're talking about right here. Okay, like I said, by 21, biology says that you should have had a lot of kids already. Okay, so let's check out this website because it's really well done, and that's why we choose it. You can either go here or here. Okay, so I'll go right in here. All right, so this is the POMA website. Okay, all right, so this, I like to click and run. First of all, see that one single in vitro fertilization cycle costs you about $1,400. All right, and you got to check your clinics in terms of which ones they should have published success rates. IVF is the last thing you're going to do. All right, there's a lot of other strategies that we can do to improve the quantity of eggs that cycle through, so it increases the likelihood that you're going to become a mom. Okay, all right, reproductive aging data. All right, so we see right here, like I said, you guys are in your prime, and then you see a precipitous decline in your fertility. All right. And that just is what it is, okay? And then they go through what's going on there, all right? So let's check it out, okay? How do you determine a woman's fertility, okay? There's a couple different things, okay? We can measure how many eggs you have at any point in time. One is from ultrasound, and the other is basically your follicles, okay? So that's the egg inside a follicle right there. They're releasing a hormone that limits how many follicles are going to go through at any one point in time, because you don't want to have 20 fetuses, right? All right, so it limits things, all right? And we can get an estimate by doing ultrasound and imaging your eggs and measuring this hormone to see how many eggs you have, okay? Now, we can also do little things. We're going to learn about clomiphene or clomid testing, and also follicle stimulating hormone. So we can give you a known dose of these drugs and see how many eggs will cycle out, okay? How many eggs can you produce? All right, so that's one thing we're going to do right there in terms of your potential, right? Now, a readout also of the quality of these follicles, okay? As the follicles get bigger and bigger, and then boom, release the egg, okay? They start producing more and more estrogen, okay? And the estrogen will, as we're going to see later on, feeds back and will shut off the brain interacting with this gland that dangles from your brain from producing FSH and LH. These two hormones are going to your ovaries, causing each follicle to go, all right? So the more estrogen, then you don't need as much FSH and LH, okay? So we can see down here, so this scale right here is how much FSH is being produced, okay? The fact that you're producing a ton of FSH, okay, right? So we're seeing out here, we're looking at less than 35, 35 to 37, 38 to 40, all the way out to 43 plus, okay? The more FSH you're producing, okay, the crappier your follicles are releasing estrogen, and so that's why you're producing so much FSH. Okay, if you're producing a ton of estrogen, then you don't need a lot of FSH, and you see that your successful birth or delivery rate is a lot better. All right, so that's one way of looking at it. All right, and you should go over this with your parents and stuff like that. All right. All right, so this goes into the FSH measures, okay? This is another thing that is used, okay? We can make your body produce a ton of FSH artificially. You don't want that happening all the time, but we can make it do in a bolus by blocking the action of estrogen, because your brain is sitting there going, well, shoot, there's no estrogen. I might as well pile on and release my follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, and the luteinizing hormone that causes the egg to go boosh and get released, all right? This stuff is called clomiphene or Clomid, okay? And this is what this Clomid challenge test is all about, okay? This is a really cool video that you can check out and watch. And, as a woman, you should really check these things out. Again, this right here is the way you count how many eggs you have, okay, that are functional. Because, even though we're all, like I said, you're all born with about 200,000, you lose obviously a lot of eggs along the way, and maybe by the time you're 30 you don't have that many eggs compared to what the average is. All right, so that's what that's all about. Okay, we'll go back to week 4, and I just threw this guy in with some explanation. Okay, so normally estrogen is going back here, okay, and it's going to limit the way this part of your brain tells your pituitary to release a follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone does exactly what it thinks. It says it stimulates the follicle to go through cell division, grow, and finally you get this burst of LH right here, and the follicle bursts and releases the egg into the fallopian tubes. It goes into your uterus. It gets fertilized. You're pregnant. Okay. Alrighty. We can make you a super ovulator. Okay, by giving this drug, clomiphene, okay, that blocks the action of estrogen. And your brain's going there, what the heck, where's the estrogen? Oh, I know, I need to stimulate the ovary to make more estrogen. So it starts piling on, pouring out the LH and FSH, and instead of having just one egg get released, you release 10 eggs, okay? And that's what happens, okay? Remember the Octomom? That was the drill there, okay? Alrighty. And it's because all the brain knows is I'm going to tone down my act with LH and FSH if I have a lot of estrogen, okay? The more and more of these cells, the follicle is getting bigger, the more and more estrogen is produced, and it shuts the system off. But if you're taking clomiphene, you're not shutting anything off, okay? All right, so that's what that's all about. All right, my friends, so I want you to think about reproduction, and I want you to get in there and discuss reproduction, okay? And I see the Rams are out there doing something. I'm stoked for Joe Burrow, man. I had the same knee surgery, and then I had a knee replacement. The fact that he made it come back for the Cincinnati Bengals is amazing. All right, guys, so I'm going to end my game here, okay? That's right. I do want to show you one thing in terms of steps that we take to help each other, okay? And I've been talking to you guys a lot about being safe and thinking about others, okay? So right here, so this was us yesterday, okay? Down at, okay, the University of California, San Diego Morris Cancer Center, and you see the bag right there, all right? So Julia, my wife, gets infused with these antibodies. If you give blood, okay, the red blood cells go to a surgery patient, and then they take the protein coat on the plasma that has all the antibodies, okay? They take it for 20,000 people. They shove it like a deck of cards, and they put it into this bag right here, and they give that to Julia once a month, okay? It's the flavor of the month immunity. It only lasts for about 3 weeks to a month. It gets cleared, and then she goes back down and gets this again, okay? This one bag right here costs $16,000 a month, okay? Thank God for the Affordable Care Act. Thank God for Obamacare, because if it wasn't for that, we would be selling our house to pay for these drugs, all right? So I want you guys to think about that. I want you to be safe, all right? All right, so that's it for now. I'm going to end with that, and I'm going to say peace and go Trojans, okay? Our basketball team's kicking behind. You guys got to follow them.